Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome everyone back from spring break. I hope everyone had a great time. And as you know, we have a winning golfer from Augusta State University. He used to be now Augusta University, Patrick Reed. And what an outstanding victory he had. And he obviously represented our school and university very well. As they won 2 NCAA 1A championships in golf, and then he goes on and wins the Masters. So how outstanding is that? Well, I hope everyone had a great time, and on behalf of the Medical College of Georgia Alumni Association, I welcome you to the 2018 Raft Debate. And we'll also do some video connections with Athens, I understand. And I would like to welcome them and any other sites around the state. The 2018 Raft Debate, as with all others, is sponsored by the Medical College of Georgia Alumni Association. And I have the distinct pleasure of serving as this year's president of the Alumni Association. The alumni play a very vital role in your school and your university, and we really participate in lots of activities and circumstances regarding the school. And I'd like to point out a couple of things for you, or a few things. One is the Harrison building itself. Dr. Harrison was a very distinguished alumnus of our school, and I knew him personally. He served on numerous boards as well as the alumni board here at the Medical College, and so he and also groups of alumni, helped contribute funds to the building of this building. We also participated in name preservation of the Medical College of Georgia. We have sponsored the freshman reception for a number of years, the Raft Debate, and we've also made contributions to the hooding ceremony. There are also a number of activities done at the peripheral teaching sites around the state of Georgia that the alumni, partnering with the MCG Foundation, also sponsor. We're obviously not alone in your education. The administration plays the most vital role in your education and your circumstances here, but the Alumni Association is a very good partner to them and has been for a number of years. I point these out because as I retire as president of the Alumni Association, I want you to know how vitally important it is that the baton be passed on to you and to younger alumni to preserve these functions, to preserve our name, and to preserve our customs. So thank you very much for attending and participating. I'd like to introduce some people who are here. I was looking for Dr. Shelley Nuss, who will be introduced later. She's sitting back here. I'd like to welcome Dr. Nuss from Athens. She's the campus dean at the Augusta University, University of Georgia Medical Partnership, and thank you for participating this evening. I'd like to introduce to you Linda James, who's our Assistant Dean for Diversity and Inclusion. Linda's back there. I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Lord Snook, who's sitting right here. He served a number of roles in the Alumni Association as well as the MCG Foundation. And Dr. Snook is going to receive the highest award that the Alumni Association gives to one of its members, the Distinguished Alumnus Award for Loyalty, and he will receive that later this month. So please congratulate Dr. Snook. So part of the passing baton is getting to know the Alumni Association, very well, and there are a number of people here tonight that represent it. First is Mr. Scott Henson, who's standing over here. I hope most of you already know Scott. He's the Associate Vice President for Alumni Affairs. Kim Koss, is Kim in the room? Yeah. Kim is the Director of Alumni Affairs. Callie Cosper is the Alumni Affairs Coordinator, and then Catherine Hardy is the Alumni Affairs Coordinator. So with that, I again thank you very much for coming and look forward to seeing you all in the future. And I would now like to introduce your interim Senior Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education, Dr. Andrea Thomas. Andrea.
Thank you. You guys have really changed what you do on a Friday night from a few years ago, I would imagine, right? This is promising to be a very exciting evening for everyone. On behalf of Dr. Hess, I'd like to welcome you all to this really great night. Dr. Hess couldn't be with us tonight. He's at the AAMC Council of Deans, and so he's doing good work. We want to make sure he does that, so we're here for him tonight. I'd also like to thank the Alumni Association, President Thompson, Scott, and Kim, and all the staff for the work that they do, spending their Friday night putting on this event for us, and we're very grateful for that. I'm especially grateful for the student leadership and class presidents that are here. They've worked on their slides. Some of them traveled from Athens to be here to support you guys. So this is going to be a lot of fun. All the faculty, they have poured their heart and souls into this, and it's just going to be a blast for all of us. So much so that my daughter is on the second row here, because I was talking about it. She had to come see it for herself. So she's 10, but she's going to have quite an impression of this after this is over with. For those of you who are voting tonight, you have a lot of pressure on you to determine who's going to be on this draft. Are they going to be Rose and make it out, or is it going to be poor Jack? And so I do not believe you have this, an easy decision ahead of you. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. We'd like to move on now and introduce your student representatives, the student coordinators that have worked very hard to put the evening together for you, and they've done an outstanding job. So now I'd like to introduce the class representatives, Rachel Lotry-Moore and Jennifer Wakocha, if they would come up.
Tonight. You will see that this is very much a team effort. We want to thank Dr. Dana and the Alumni Association for helping us, leading us through this project, and also the faculty who volunteered their time. And it's a great turnout, and we hope you enjoy it.
And so now we're going to hear from some of the class presidents. So first, it's going to be Ben Daniel, who is the Athens Class of 2020 president, and then we're going to hear from Miller, and then Tunde, who are the second and third year class presidents from the Augusta campus.
Hey y'all, my name is Benjamin. I'm from the Athens campus. I realize now that I am woefully underprepared because I do not have a presentation in the power of memes, but I'll try my best to get to those presentations. I think they've got 70 plus slides coming for you. Crazy. So I'd like to echo all the thanks to the Alumni Association for sponsoring this event, but also to all the students who have put it together as well, and all of y'all for showing up. It can be really intimidating for someone like me to come to a campus I'm not used to, but Augusta does a great job communicating with me, and it's absolutely wonderful to get to come here and really know what's going on and experience your life for a bit. I was going to do a PowerPoint slide, but when I kind of sat down and thought about it, I realized that it'd be kind of an action shot of one of us studying in the library, and maybe a zoom out shot of somebody studying in a cafe, maybe a panning shot of somebody studying at home. So I didn't necessarily want to bore you with that, but I saw Miller's memes and she's more creative than me, so it's coming. It's going to be great for the second year class. And the third and second last thing I'd like to say is, I think this is great. Just keep in mind that this is kind of getting our heads out of the books and kind of looking forward to what type of doctor we want to be and kind of why we're all here. So I love this event because of that, because I'm not in first aid right now. And finally, I'd like to thank the other two class presidents for letting me off the hook, so to speak, without the presentation, because I looked through first aid twice, and public speaking and comedy are not in that. So this is out of my wheelhouse. So thank y'all for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
President here in Augusta, and I'm really excited to be able to kind of share the story of our year with you all. So, again, thank you to the Alumni Association for sponsoring this event, and for everybody that's really put in a lot of work to make this happen. I came to the Raft Debate first time last year. It was hilarious. It's awesome. So, for those who've never been here before, you were really in for a treat. So, I hope that I can adequately share the story in my class. Which M2s are in the house? Are we? Yeah, okay. I'm proud of you. This is great. Okay, so here are learning objectives. Okay, now I want you to pay attention. So 5 through 30 are actually on handout on D2L, and you are responsible for notes. Nice, okay. Number 3 is really important. We're going to tactfully highlight our anxiety and sense of impending doom, directly related to that quote-unquote quiz we're going to take in June. Okay, so here we are, medical students, white coat, bright and shiny, woo-woo! First year, is that awesome this year or what? Woo! Okay, yes. Okay, so getting your white coat is such a rite of passage and going through medical school. And when we got our white coat, we were so excited we were actually going to be able to see patients. But the other part of that rite of passage is going through your first 2 pre-clinical years. And so after finishing first year and taking a summer off, we were really excited to kind of start second year because we were one step closer to seeing patients. So some of us were like this, running up Harrison like, let's learn immunology and pathology and all this stuff. Other people were like, yeah, that's stories like that. And then we had the talk, y'all, the talk of M2 year, step 1. And so it was on our radar really early, and so we said, okay, calm yourself first of all. Second of all, put on your big girl and boy's pants, and study like you've never studied before. Okay, so after orientation, we went right into fundamentals. You guys get that? Oh man! So it was not fun at all, because immunology did us like that. But, you know, and it took us a few weeks to really get acclimated to studying, but we learned really how to process the material that was being presented to us in class. We also learned how to use outside resources to supplement what we were learning in class. One of fan favorite is Sketchy Micro. M2 Sketchy Micro? Yeah! Oh yeah. And so after the learning about Sketchy, our studying became all about trying to find the cat in the sketch and knew whether or not the organism was catalase positive. Oh, there's a cat! Look at it there! All right. And so after fundamentals crashed all over us, we realized that, you know, it's hard. We get by with a lot of help from Dr. Falls, the selfie team. This is one of many also, y'all. And Dr. Russell, a.k.a. Mama Russell. Yeah. I couldn't find a selfie of her, and Dr. Fisher. So these are just a few of the many faculty and administrators who have really been there to support us this year. Also, looking for the selfie for Dr. Fisher. Stay tuned. Okay, so after fundamentals, we went right into Heme Onc, taught by none other than Dr. Daner. Here you are. All right, so M2s, you know this. You know what this means, don't you? No for tests. And we're like, oh yes, like transparency. We know what we need to know. And then we saw one smiley face, we saw 5. We saw like 10. I can't count, but we lost it. How many smiley faces are on there? My gosh. You know, but we learned a lot from the probably the most memorable thing that we learned from this part of the module was Dr. Daner reminding us to not eat the fava beans because then we would get GC6PD deficiency anyway. Am I right, Dr. Daner? Don't eat the fava beans, y'all. It's so bad. Okay, so after GI adorable, but you know, look at your gallbladder. It's so cute. It's easy. So, I know, oh, poor gallbladder. Okay. So, wrapping up our semester with CNS and MSK, these were 2 shorter modules. So, with CNS, this is the atlas of the medical unit brain. I can really sum it up with sleep, eat, study, repeat. That's pretty much, I can't map it to the, temporal or frontal lobe, sorry, Dr. Hess. But that's pretty much what it is. We also appreciated the fact that caffeine was a readily available stimulant for us. So that's CNS. And then MSK, this pretty much sums up MSK. And why so Dr. Moore was so kind to bring us chocolate from the dollar store, like every week. And if you've never had chocolate from the dollar store, you go get you some chocolate from the dollar store. It's the best dang chocolate you'll ever have. All right. So this also happened at the end of the semester. We knew just enough to be dangerous, right? We knew a little bit about a lot. So we were kind of hypochondriacs and diagnosed ourselves with multiple syndromes, albeit very rare. So an example would be, had diarrhea this morning. Must be. And I got his permission to use this again. Yeah. Okay, so right into cardio home after the holidays. So, anybody know how to read one of these M2s? Judy, you raised your hand.
What's that?
Huh? What's that? That would be, I think it's an EKG. I don't know. I think this is like a peak and that's a whole lung. That's a bigger lung. I don't know. When Dr. Thornton tells us, hey, reading an EKG is easy. Or when we see it on our quiz, our face. Not like that. I don't know. Gotta learn that from step one. Okay, so in the renal, did y'all know that there were so many famous kidneys? Billy Kidney, Nicole Kidney, Hello Kidney, my favorite, Kidney Rock. That's awesome. And so we realized that the kidney is really one of the most underappreciated organs in the body. I really do believe that. And so I think our class really resolved to go on a low-salt diet. So no more salt. Granted, that lasted for like 2 weeks. Because we went to Diablo's like the next week. All right, so endocrine. We're in endocrine right now. And so when I think of endocrine, gosh, sometimes I look in the mirror and I look at my classmates and I feel like we look like this. And sometimes I'm like, is it Graves' disease or is it just step 1? It's probably the latter. It's probably the latter. Okay, so I'd be remiss without talking about PBL, PD, and I see Dr. Brown here. Oh, I promise it's good. I promise it's good. So PBL, second year, it's a little bit better because you know how to read a CBC, and that means so much to you. It really does. But for PBL, you hear the old saying, you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. Not in PBL. Oh, zebras. Zebras. But hey, it helps us develop our sense of curiosity and I've heard step 1 test that, so that's important too. And sorry, spoiler alert for M1s, it's not lupus and it never is. And that's always on the top of the differential, but it's not. All right, and so PD. PD was awesome. There was quite a learning curve initially, and I think a lot of that was how to properly wear a stethoscope. That was really hard for us, but we learned. And then the next struggle we faced was something like this. We didn't think the patient had a heartbeat. But we actually really didn't click the stethoscope to the right thing. And we almost pulled code on step 2. Anyway, it was fine. My other favorite one is when you have the headache patient, and you really think that that patient said, I'm really kind of having a headache, and it might be the worst headache of my life. And you're like, oh my gosh, should I run out of the room? Should I call it? What should I do? Anyway, we were fine. That's just another PD story. But hey, I think we do know how to learn to use the stethoscope now. So, we're good. We got that. And then, this is a really heartwarming picture. Some students, and Jennifer's in the picture, some students just love their preceptor so much they put his face on their shirt. Isn't that awesome, Dr. Gold? So, great times in PD, Dr. Brown. Great times. So, many people might ask, okay, well, what do you guys do when you're not studying? Oh, we do a lot of things. First of all, we get 8 hours. Whether in the library, in the nursing, in a bus, even in class. We'll take it out of us. It really does. So we have to get 8 hours somehow. Also, we get exercise. So is anybody, Connor, you're in this, right? Yeah, so this is the team. This is back that pass up. And they're the intramural soccer champions, right? Yeah, there you go. Exercise. there. We know it's so close. We're so close to being able to go in the hospital, but alas, step one. So, we're about to go into dedicated. We actually finish on May 1st. Then May 1st, you guys finish on May 1st as well? May 12th? Okay. Well, and then we go into like dedicated for an extended period of 6 weeks, I believe. It's okay. Yeah. Nobody panic. That's fine. Okay. So we go into dedicated for 6 weeks, and obviously I've never experienced dedicated, so I really don't know what it's like. But I've been told by 2 native colleagues it's something like this. So you're trying to absorb everything in your little brain that you possibly can and hope and pray you remember it. Weeks 3 through 5, or something like that, and not taking tests yet. You are really emotional, and you want to cry all the time and push everybody away. We're going to try not to do that, but who knows? It's okay. And then we actually take step 1, and it's glorious, and we're able to go into our clerkships, and see patients. However, we start as toddlers, infants, but we're hoping that's going to improve. And we're coming to a hospital near you, June 2018, so watch out. We're excited. And we're really excited about our future here at MCG. So thank you all so much for supporting our class. I hope that you can see that we are working hard and having fun while we're doing it. So I'm going to bring up Tunde. Did you guys know he went to Auburn? Did you guys know he played football? What are you wearing today, Tunde? Oh, he's wearing an Auburn shirt. That's funny. Well done, yes. Yay! Okay, thank you guys. Woo!
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Tunde. I'm the third-year president for the class of 2019, and I won a national championship with Auburn. Beforehand, Dr. Thomas, I'm going to apologize for the off-cover slides that I have on here, because I didn't know you were bringing your daughter. Just preparing you. All right, so third year. As you can imagine, you're on a completely different journey now compared to your first 2 years of medical school. You're actually seeing real patients instead of playing pretend with Dr. Brown or high-yield functional PBL. Everyone's getting entertained. It's not just you. But as you know, there's a rite of passage every medical student has to go through before they get to go to the hospital. And that is step 1. So I felt like last year I wasn't adequately prepared for the emotional roller coaster I was going to go through and taking step 1. So I decided I was going to take you through my 9 circles of hell that is taking step 1. Starting with purgatory. Except for the occasional gunner, maybe not that occasional, most of the M1s should be sitting in purgatory right now. You shouldn't be thinking about step 1. You should be enjoying your life, doing med student things that don't involve opening first aid. All right? Your first circle of hell is going to be denial. So this is where your second year begins. You know step 1 is a real test at this point. You completely pushed off studying it because you've got plenty of time, but you know inevitably it is coming. So the second circle is the initiation of study. You finally cracked open your first aid book, and you probably put it down like 15 minutes later, but you finally started reading something for first aid. You probably had your first Q bank at this point, started doing a couple of questions, so you're not feeling too bad. So the third circle of hell is when you start to get a little concerned. This is probably where you're all sitting right now in the second year. It's about a month before you get into dedicated time. You're starting to realize that you don't really know nearly as much as you thought you did, and that maybe you have a lot of work to do. Okay, so my first circle of hell I call Panic 1. Of note, this is from this circle forward, you're no longer exhibiting normal human activity. You're gonna start to become pretty noticeable in public. You're gonna stop shaving your face or your legs, ladies. And personal hygiene kind of becomes secondary to finishing your 3-question sets in the next couple of hours. All right, so my 5th circle of health, humane health. This is pretty much where you're going to sit the majority of your time while you're studying for step 1. You're going to be pretty much sick of the deceit, getting tricked by all the U-World questions, tired of missing things because you didn't read it carefully enough. Yeah, this is where you're going to sit. Then you're going to get to circle 6, where you start to unhinge a little bit. At this point, personal hygiene is kind of an afterthought to everything that you're doing. You may or may not be washing your clothes that you're wearing coming up to study, and you're pretty much stressing out at this point. So put circles 7 and 8 together, call it panic 2 and reconsideration. Some of the signs that you might be seeing these two, if your friends start to convince themselves that chewing gum can substitute as toothpaste, if they are starting to yell at you for some of the most minor things, and if they just really smell bad. This is the sign to take a break. You should probably stop what you're doing before you get into breakdown. Yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory. Then Dr. Page and Dr. Thomas have to come bail you out. We don't want any of that, right? So, then you get into test day. What you want to do is you want to come in and be calm, you want to be collected. And you're probably going to see people around you that are laughing and kind of joking around. And internally just know everybody feels like this guy. Which you can't really see, but that's okay. And just know, for the last 2 years, and most especially the last 2 months, you've been preparing yourself for this giant test. So when you get to section 1 out of 7, and it's just kicking your butt, don't get discouraged. You're going to be all right. So, you're going to take step 1, and hopefully when you get done, you're going to feel like this guy. Mic drop. You did it. If you do, congratulations, you made it 270. You're probably going to feel more like this. Sorry, Dr. Thomas. Regardless of how you feel after you take the test, make sure you go out and enjoy yourself. That's the last chance you got. Why is the rum gone? All right, so clerkships are going to begin, and you're pretty much going to fill up a man's down here and just buried in everything that you're going to be doing. It's a lot of work, and it's completely different from anything that you've done before, but just know you have been prepared for it for the first 2 years. So that takes me nicely into my first rotation, which is pediatrics. So what I did is I had Miller send me pictures, or whatever it was he wants to send me, that represents each rotation. And I guess I was going to compare them to what I think of each rotation. So she sent me some cute rugrats and this adorable baby over here. I think this is pretty much what everybody thinks going into pediatrics. You're going to see lots of cute babies and play with kids, and it's going to be a great time. Here's what I think of pediatrics. I use this photo because probably half of it is pretty much adult psychology. It's going to be a lot of reassuring parents that their baby sneezing does not mean they have pertussis. And there's a lot of body fluids. Yeah, it's probably when I first learned that I'm going to have to become very comfortable with body fluids. I was hoping by taking it in July I was going to get to avoid all of this, but we had a breakout of hand, foot, and mouth this last summer. Yeah, it took out a lot of us. All right, so the next rotation I had was OBGYN. Miller sent me these relaxing, pregnant women, stretching out, having a good time. And what's more cuter than your uterus, right? That's right. So this is more accurate than what OBGYN is. I don't think I really need to explain that. We're going to run into a lot of angry women. That's going to be pregnant women, that's going to be attendings, just nurses. Everyone's just very angry. And we're just learning to deal with it. It's going to be all right. This is also... this is the cuter's uterus. Quite a traumatic experience. I really wasn't ready for that. But I ruined a brand new pair of sneakers because of this rotation. So my advice to you is make sure you wear some booties when you go in. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about for OB is pelvic exams. So I just want to clarify, this story is not mine. I did not do this. This was somebody else, okay? But they told it to me and I said I have to tell everyone because it's hilarious. All right, so while doing an OB/GYN exam, one of my classmates, he was out on our regional campus with his attending, and they of course were performing a pelvic exam for a lady, pretty normal, standard. The attending got done with what he was doing and asked the student to come in and do the pelvic exam. So you probably can't really tell from here, but when you're doing one, the gown is pretty much covering her, and you're trying to basically insert your fingers, slide down like we've been taught by Dr. Brown, and see what's going on. So my classmate is doing everything Dr. Brown taught him to do. He says, "Ma'am, my finger's on your thigh now. I'm going to slide down, and I'm going to insert 2 fingers." And he starts having some trouble with inserting 2 fingers. And he's saying, "What is going on? I don't understand. I've done this before." And so he switches to 1 finger. And she's starting to squirm around a little bit and kind of move back. And he's saying, "Ma'am, please relax. I'm trying to examine your pelvis." And I think you guys kind of know what happened there. But the man plays it off well. The attending is asking, "What's going on? Do you feel that?" And he's like, yeah, totally. When she slightly slides out, checks his finger, throws it away. So, from that lesson, clear rule. So the next rotation, family medicine. Miller said to me, "Jack of all trades," which I think is completely accurate. Family medicine docs pretty much know everything there is to know about anything. What I think of family medicine. Welcome to family medicine, where the guidelines are made up and the evidence is half the time I still have no idea where to go when I'm treating hypertension. I just throw everything out there and say eventually someone's going to say yes. So I do appreciate them though. I do think they're the quarterbacks of the medical team. They do handle a lot of things and kind of the central role of taking care of patients and how to get referrals out and everything. But unlike quarterbacks, they have no money. That's the one that you guys think is that? Fine. All right, general surgery. She said me Grey's Anatomy. I'm sure many of us probably think that general surgery is a lot like Grey's Anatomy. You feel like a pretty busy surgeon. You kind of run the hospital. You're pretty autonomous as an intern, doing everything, operating all the time. And lots of hookups, right? Yeah, this is pretty much what I think of general surgery. Yeah, that was rough too, huh? They work hard though. They're great people. They work hard. And also this. They're probably some of the angriest people you'll meet in the OR, and then the nicest people you'll meet outside. All right, so this is what she sent me for orthopedics. That's a pretty radical guy. I'm here to break some stereotypes today and tell you that orthopedic surgeons are a group of astute men and women dedicated to the care of patients. But I will admit, it's a little trouble. If you step forward, you're benched on the equal 500, maybe you should get patient. And plus, it's one of the most awesome fields. It doesn't want to do that, right? Maybe not. Okay, next. Urology. So what she sent me is a note from a TSA agent stating you have body cavity search, does not excuse you from a rectal exam. No, this is 100% accurate for women. There's definitely a lot of that going on. All right, so for internal medicine, I'm not completely sure what you meant by this. Diabetes has increased dramatically over the past 20 years. That proves that diabetes is caused by global warming. It sounds more like a psych patient to me. But here's my interpretation of internal medicine. They're some of the smartest doctors you're going to run into in the hospital. And they're kind of nerdy. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. It's okay. I mean, we still love you. And if you think I'm inaccurate, this is not... Carson is also my teaching attendance, and I beg his mercy. But they're also going to be the ones that thank you the most. So you got to give them a little respect. So chronology aside, there's the two rotations I haven't had quite yet, but this is pretty much what I think of them. If you're able to get a reflex without using your reflex hammer, you're a boss, and you're going to do a whole lot of listening. So, yeah, hopefully you have a more accurate picture of what third year is going to be like. Please just, everything I say, take with a grain of salt. That's all I got.
Hi everyone. So I'm here to talk about Dr. Daner, our fearless leader of the Raft Debate. So he asked me to roast him earlier today, but 30 seconds is not long enough. I would need an hour for that. Okay, so I don't know where the PowerPoint for that was, but it was up there. So let me see if I can find it. Anyways, I will just tell you guys a little bit about Dr. Daner. He is an associate professor at the university. He is the curriculum's second year curriculum for hematology and oncology. He wears many hats at the university, and he also plays the violin. Jennifer is working on technical difficulties, and he has made us very prepared for step one. And on my PowerPoint, there's a picture of him frowning to depict how we feel about when he teaches us, because he gives us a lot of information, but it's also very good information. And then the next picture was him smiling, and it said, "This is how we're going to feel after acing step one hemonc."
Yeah.
All right, so now Dr. Daner is going to come up here and talk.
I'll use this. Okay. Rachel, if you're going to just stand up for a second. No, I mean, I'm sorry, Rashmita. Sorry. I'm mentally challenged with my age. Rashmita is going to, is just going to make available to you a questionnaire about your impressions of the Raft Debate and what influence it had on you. And we don't have time. We're getting so late that all I want to do is just make my introductions quickly and get on. But be aware that there is a questionnaire that she's going to be handing out to you or sending to you electronically, and we'd really like to get your feedback. Now, what I want to do very quickly is just to go over what the whole situation is. We're in a boat with 3 physicians, an internist, a surgeon, and a pediatrician, and they are on a boat that just hit an iceberg, and they're going down, and they are just desperate and looking for anything that can save them, realizing that the cold waters are going to freeze those that don't get some kind of protection, and they're going to die. But they only find a raft that holds 1 person, and they realize that something must be done, and they call desperately on their shortwave radio, and they're able to get the dean at the Athens campus of the Medical College of Georgia. And she says, "This is terrible. What can we do?" I've got a bunch of students here. And if you'd like to debate who should get the raft, what would be better than to let the students decide? So that's why we're having the raft debate this year. And the students are going to decide by electronic voting on who is going to get that raft. And I wish the winner the best. And the losers, I just wish them well. It's Friday the 13th, and you know that bad things are going to happen here. And let's just talk about the individuals, because I just want to make certain that you understand who these people are. And first of all, you're in your second year, and even some of you in your third year, you're trying to decide what kind of specialty might I want to go. And this, my vote is thinking, and what am I going to do? Am I going to go and you know, am I falling asleep? Do I have ADHD? Maybe I should go into medicine because I'm not sure of what's happening. Maybe you just want to fix things, and you really are pushed into general surgery. Or maybe you just like to take care of little kids, and you want to escape, and so you go into pediatrics. But look at the various possibilities that you might. And maybe you like everything and you want to go into family medicine. But let's talk now about our contestants and our leadership. The leadership is what's most important. And this is Dr. Michelle Nuss, who is the UGA Medical Partnership Campus Dean. She is a professor not only of internal medicine, but psychiatry as well. And she puts the two together in a wonderful way that's similar to what my daughter has decided. And I got so inspired when I found out that she has somebody to look up to in my area. And she is an innovative and inspiring educator. But the funny thing is that she's duplicated. She's one of two identical twins. And they grew up in Cleveland, and they're diehard Cleveland fans. They both decided to go into pharmacy, and they actually went to they went to pharmacy school, but they both decided that maybe there was something even more that they would like to explore. So one of them went to Ohio State, and the other one went to West Virginia University School of Medicine. Go Mountaineers! Okay, so not so fake facts. We've got to avoid those fake facts, but I got to tell you a few of them. She did a residency in medicine and psychiatry in a new evolving specialty. She joined the faculty because she got so inspired by those that trained her. And she just flew through and became course director in a short period of time. Before you knew it, she became vice president of medical affairs at West Virginia University. But then MCG realized that she was great, and she went to the Athens campus and became the campus associate dean for graduate medical education. And finally, because of the outstanding work she has done, she became the dean there in 2015 and has done a fantastic job. And she's just got a wonderful smile. So, can we welcome you, Dr. Nuss? The next person I'm going to talk about is Dr. Eichenberger. He got his medical degree at the Indiana University School of Medicine and went on to do his residency here at MCG. Went further into a fellowship in general and adolescent medicine at Vanderbilt. But he decided he needed to come back. But this man is a technical rock star, and he's certified in clinical informatics. And when the computers break down, he's the person you want to blame for not being able to get it right. He is a rabid Star Wars fan, and he even wears his Star Wars Christmas sweater at Christmas time and sings Christmas carols as the children are coming into the Children's Medical Center. And you'll come on in. Normally he's in a good mood, but he gets sour when others want to take his raft, and he thinks, this is my place. And this is his colleague, Kathleen Mahoney, and they're both in bad moods. thinking about others want to take away what belongs to them. The next person is Dr. Kalv, and he was born in Germany. I have to find out, was he a military brat or what? He's a real German. Oh, he's a real German. Okay, but he came as a young child with his family, and he ultimately went to Auburn University, and he decided to become an aerospace engineer and work with NASA. But you know, he just didn't feel fulfilled. He wanted to do more for others, and he came to MCG, and he graduated with honors. First in his class, close to it. Fairly close to it. And in any event, he got his residency in orthopedics, and then went on because he wanted to do even more. He wanted to take care of children and fix those young bones, and did his orthopedic fellowship at Emory University. But he came back to our school, and he's dedicated. And so we help welcome Dr. Kalv. And he rides and collects motorcycles. One of them is a Ducati. His high regard for his competitors is easily demonstrated in this illustration here. And this is the respect he has for their arguments. So welcome him, and it should be an exciting situation. And he wants to wave goodbye to his competitors. And so everybody can wave goodbye to them right now. We don't have to wait through this debate. Our last person is Dr. Carson. He came here to medical school and graduated with honors at MCG. He stayed on to do his residency here. And afterwards, he got into a training program too, to make him a better, not only a better physician, but a better clinical teacher. And I've sat in on some of his problem-based learning situations with the third-year students that have been really impressed. He's pursuing his Teaching Scholars Fellowship at Augusta University's Educational Intervention Institute. And he's also medical director of the Augusta University Travel Advisory Clinic. So if you want to go to abroad, I happen to be going to Vietnam next November. He's the person that I need to speak to and get my immunizations and my advice about what not to eat or drink. At a young age, he learned to help people at all times. He learned to keep himself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And he learned to build a fire as well. He's not afraid of the water, and at least he will be able to swim a bit if he does not get the raft, but he really wants it badly. And he thinks that he is so good that if he doesn't get the raft, he'll walk on water anyway. He manages a very orderly class. Come on out here and show us how well ordered he is. And he has a most sympathetic demeanor as he will row away. Who needs the devil anyway? He's got a devilish character on his own. Now finally, we have Dr. Frank Block. And he's our devil's advocate. He's the person the devil sent to us so we can sink all three of them. When not in hell, he serves as a professor part-time of anesthesiology. He's co-facilitator for a group of 8 second-year medical students at the Athens campus. He is serving his 3rd episode of failing retirement. In his spare time, he is also research professor of physics at Vanderbilt, and he is an active participant in the UGA opera program. His inexperience includes his origins being reared in Atlanta. Ooh, who wants to talk about them? He did his undergraduate at Yale, went on to University of Virginia for his medical school and his anesthesiology residency, and then did a fellowship at Duke. Most of his career has been as an academic anesthesiologist at the University of Arkansas. And he was the founder of the Duke University's Pitchforks, a men a cappella group, and I understand we're going to get some singing tonight as well. He's a member of the ISO-IEC Joint Working Group on Medical Alarms, so when things go wrong, you'll know about it. His pledge to all the contestants is, "I will take you out." And is he sitting with Weird Al? And you know, Weird Al is going to be here tomorrow, and although this was free for you today, if you want to hear Weird Al, it costs $50 to go see him at the Miller Theater tomorrow. His commitment is to play and sing musical funeral music for you, and to sing to each of the drowning contestants as they pass on. And as he waves to the goodbye to the looters, we're still not sure if it's going to be 2 or 3 of them that are going down, but they say, "Oh crap, was that today?" So, and the rest of the story, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that is most adapted to change. So that is going to win with tonight's debate, and let's find out what happens. Thank you very much.
Check, check. We're good, we're live, we're good, well welcome, and it's Friday the 13th, and I think it's time to start the debate. So we're going to start with each of the contestants here, and Dr. Jake Eichenberger is going to go first with a 3-minute intro about why he should win the debate, and then after each contestant, we'll have a 1-minute rebuttal from each. His 3 minutes is not being eaten out, don't worry. You go fancy with the Prezi presentation, and that's our delay here, folks. Couldn't stick to the basic PowerPoint. Already losing the debate, sir. Not going well. And it's still loading.
All right, perfect. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the Alumni Association for sponsoring this event. It'll be nice to properly say goodbye to my colleagues. I'd also like to thank Dr. Nuss for, she's got a hard job today, and I know she's going to choose correctly here. But farewell, Dr. Kalv and Dr. Carson. Let's start with my achievements, some of which were partially explained correctly earlier. I'm just kidding, we're not going to go through all of that. My fellowship was in clinical informatics, not adolescent medicine. But let's go to my real achievements and the reason that I have to be chosen. First place, parent competition for my child's perennial math competition. The team is led by me. My high school sweetheart is next. I started dating my wife in high school when I was a promising young medical student like you all. I had hair, I was in shape, and I was going to med school. Despite some bad fashion decisions and loss of hair, she stayed with me. We did eventually get married. Went to Indiana for my medical school, and we actually met in orchestra. And while we were in Indianapolis, we went and saw some artists. Some of you will know this person, this person. This is some of the artists we like best, and we were seeing some concerts. My wife was pregnant here with our first child. He also likes music. But this is what it looks like to be a parent in medical school. After you study, you take care of your child. So this is actually 2 different occasions. You can see laundry, pay attention, and it doesn't get done often. That is the same shirt, 3 months apart. I mentioned my son likes to play music. This is he's the reason you're going to vote for me to go home. In residency day 4, I had our second child. My wife had our second child. And we kept adding. 3rd year of med school, we got 3. Notice the pediatrician's children are all appropriately wearing helmets. And fellowship at Vanderbilt, our 4th child was born, who I'm going to linger on for just a minute. This is the real reason you're going to vote for me. Our fourth child has a rare genetic syndrome that at the time about 70 people in the world had. Now it's a little over 100. And she's a blessing, but she requires a lot of care. So this was us just a week ago, today exactly, at Disney World. You can see 4 of my children. We don't have any new photos of the 5th child that was born 2 months ago. This is his Instagram photo. So if you don't have a heart, and if my children are not a good enough reason, then think of the other children that you'd be helping by saving me. And if you still don't have a heart, let's look at some data. A pediatrician is your best bargain. 20,000, you can see the salary here. You can see that some people have a little extra money to spend on other things. And this is how much you like medicine. And I will end.
Thank you, Dr. Eichenberger. Next up, we have our surgeon, Greg. He has his own bells and whistles, you can see here. Okay, 3 minutes for Greg.
Thanks for having me. Thanks to the Alumni Association. I gotta tell you, people, you want a surgeon on that raft. You gotta have a surgeon on that raft. Why? We are the lifelong learners of this group. You're not gonna do the stuff you learn in residency when you get out in practice. You're not gonna do the stuff you did in med school. You're gonna have to learn it on your own. You're gonna have to be an adult learner. Pedicle screws, arthroscopy, the materials of joint replacement. That's never been seen before. You're gonna have to relearn it all. The advances you make in your career are not from pharmacology. They're from your skills, brothers and sisters. We are able to adapt. Somebody says it can't be done. I don't believe it. It's impossible for you. Not for me. You have to attack that problem. When you're in the OR, there is no place to hide. He's a femur fracture we did. Done it Grady. We couldn't get it reduced, get the nail down. He said we can make a big incision, put a plate on there. I said, no, brothers and sisters. We're going to put some pins in there, put an X-fix. Hold that reduce, get that nail down. It's AFT. Ain't a freaking tonic, baby. I never heard of that before. I never seen it before. We did it and ourselves. We invented that. We are on the cutting edge. This ain't the reading edge, people. This is the cutting edge of medicine. This young child has severe scoliosis. That is a fatal diagnosis if it is not helped. We are going to lengthen his spine. He's too young for a fusion. So we're going to put these rods in there. We're going to lengthen them. Or you're going to take him to surgery? No, we're going to lengthen them with magnets that turn the actuator and lengthen that rod with no surgery. Simulators, robotics. This is the cutting edge, people, the cutting edge of medicine. We are dedicated through our work. We are the highest trained. We have the greatest commitment, 5 to 7 years of residency, 1 to 3 years of fellowship. You sacrifice your own time taking call to take care of your patients. We are able to be a part of a cohesive team, but when it hits the fan, you got to take command and attack it. You've been in the spine, you've been doing spine surgery, you've been correcting deformity, you lose neuromonitoring. Somebody's got to protect that spinal cord. The music comes off, anesthesia got to get in the room. Stop watching YouTube, stop passing gas, come on over there. Somebody's got to leave that room. Why a surgeon? You got to cut to cure, baby. You got to perform on the highlights and cold steel. We stamp out disease. What's the cure for diabetes? That's what I thought you'd say. Coronary arteries, cabbage cured. Woo! Aortic stenosis cured. Woo! Orthopedics. That's right, fractures cured. Cured. Woo! Vascular surgery, aneurysm, bypass stenosis, bypass grafts cured. Neurosurgery, brain tumors resected. Seizure activity ablated. Woo! Urology, look what they can do with these congenital malformations in this baby. OBGYN. I have no idea what these are. But the Eichenberger plastic making the world a more beautiful place for all of us. Look at Carson. He looks so good, baby. There is no debate. It is over. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. That was amazing. I have a hard time to follow here with sad Carson. So that was I felt like I was in a rap session. And the OB-GYN comment is relevant to what Tunde shared. I'm not sure they knew what was going on with OB either earlier. So. All right, well, we've got Dr. Carson, our internist. 3 minutes, Dan. See what you got.
Well, I think by the end of my talk, you will see that the choice for internal medicine is elementary. Internal medicine, we're the detectives of the physicians. We're out there making our differentials, looking for our diagnoses, following along great names like Sherlock Holmes, Dick Tracy, and Hercule Poirot. Another aspect you should recognize about us is we share similarities to the pluripotent stem cell. You see, we can differentiate whenever we want. The pluripotent stem cell, you can run cells in cardiac tissue. You can neural cell if you want to. You see, similarly, that the internal medicine resident, when he's done, can stay a pluripotent stem cell or decide to subspecialize to his heart's content. I'd like to rebuttal here for our surgeon. You see, decades ago, if you came to the ER having a heart attack, what would you do? You would meet this gentleman right here, a cardiac and thoracic surgeon. He would crack open your heart and your chest like an egg. He would whip around, do some things, put you back together like Frankenstein's monster. These days, things have gotten a little better. You see the cardiologist. She'll be the one meeting you in the ER these days. She and her cath lab, they'll take this RCA, throw a little stent in there, and loosen you and back like a golf course for you. All without making an incision. No cardiology. Same thing with the colorectal surgeon. Decades ago, you come to the ER with a GI bleed. What happens to you? You get filleted like a fish. That looks uncomfortable. These days, that's not the way things go. Our gastroenterology colleagues, they're going to, with their endoscopes, without a single incision, go down, sclerose, stop the bleeding, and you'll be right back out the door. Go gastroenterology. I think running out of time, I'm going to skip some slides here and get to my conclusion. Internal medicine, we're detectives, the sleuths you want on the case, but we will be happy to have our diagnosis. Also, I think you could call us the surgeons of tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. So at this point, we've got 1 minute for each of our contestants to make a rebuttal, and we're going to start with Dr. Jake, our pediatrician.
Thank you. First for Dr. Kalv, just with Dr. Kale, that everything's about money and how his money's going to solve it. Pediatricians certainly can't use that as their tool. He did make some good points about a spinal cord, but it's mostly cosmetic, the stuff he does. Also, notice you heard 2 diagnoses in there. That's about all they do. To your points, I don't know why you're so interested in changing careers. Is there nothing good about just plain internal medicine? It seems like you didn't talk anything at all about what you do. I might find it elementary, but really I think everything's just a mystery.
We'll go to our second debater, Dr. Greg Kalv. Give us a rebuttal.
I appreciate that. I understand you want to be a surgeon. Applications start in the fall. Well, I got to see your board scores first. Honestly, I don't even know why he's here. But I like him anyway. He doesn't take up much room. That's all I got.
Thank you, Dr. Kalv. All right. Dan is going to give us his 1 minute rebuttal. He had to prepare another PowerPoint for us. Another PowerPoint heavily this evening.
I'd like to take my time to rebuttal our pediatrician here. I would like to say everybody knows that... We have slides? There's your answer, people! Everybody Everybody knows that children are nothing but small adults. So how does a pediatrician justify their specialty in the first place? See, they follow milestones for normal children. I agree with you, 6-month-old baby. Blah, blah, blah. Also, I think I'll reveal to y'all today the truth behind pediatricians. By the age of 18, they give 50 vaccinations. Why doesn't this get covered by our public health department? Why doctors? I think the answer will be shocking to you. The answer is that pediatricians love to watch babies cry. First, it's what brings them their true They may look sharp with their smile and their shiny bow tie, but usually as James Moriarty. So in summary, pediatricians, they're sinister villains, surgeons, going to the dinosaurs. Medicine for the
We're going to bring on our devil's advocate now, Dr. Frank Block, for a 2-minute statement of purpose. And he's going to queue up our contestants here over the next 15 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I use the term loose, you have on this auspicious occasion the dubious honor of judging your caducean colleagues who find themselves presented presently with prolonged and profound marine immersion, which can be remedied only in part and solely by me, the devil's advocate, the paratyrannical inquisitor of the Raft Debate, who promises to make inquiry of each with a single question upon a topic heretofore deemed unimaginable at the Raft Debate, that one may thus demonstrate his personal worthiness and thereby spare his miserable life. The others can sink, freeze, or be eaten by the crocodiles. Though the point is frankly moot, as all 3 specialists will in short order be rendered irrevocably redundant, as I shall explicate in the fullness of the time appointed.
Brace yourselves, contestants.
I am the Pirate King, I am the Pirate King, and it is a glorious thing to be a Pirate King. I am the Pirate King, I am the Pirate King, and it is a glorious thing to be a Pirate King. I see it. Well, we'll start in reverse order and quiz our panelists here. I told you the questions would be unimaginable, Dr. Carson. A medical question. Let's say you get the raft, and your colleagues are thrown into the icy waters. And in a little while, the Jolly Roger comes by and picks up the 3 of you. And you're nice and warm, but your colleagues have hypothermia. How will you take care of your colleagues with no electricity and no equipment?
Dr. Carson, that was to you. No time for pausing, you only have, how many seconds? 60 seconds.
Demon, I wasn't listening to any of your frivolity. We all know that internal medicine is the right choice that's going to be made. You can ask your questions as you like.
He doesn't know what pirates know. Pirates know that you dry them off, you put them in dry clothes, and you have two warm pirates not lie down next to them, and they'll warm right up. You don't get the rest. Dr. Kalv.
Hey, that guy's good looking, ain't he?
They used to say that the surgeon is the captain of the ship. But in 2018, who is the captain of the ship? Is it you? Is it the anesthesiologist, the charge nurse, the department chair, the hospital administrator?
The dean. The dean's in charge.
Who tells you when you're going to operate and how many cases you're going to do and when you're going to do them? I want to know who's the captain.
What are you doing? There's several captains of this ship. It depends on what part you're in. We're going to get it approved. We're going to get to the hospital. We're going to say, I need this, I need that. We're going to get a charge nurse because they got to take care of them on the floor. We got to get the anesthesiologist to get them sleep. Not too sleep, not too deep. We got to do the surgeon to do the surgery. It's a team, people. It's part of a team. They ain't no captain. It's all working together, baby. I'm hungry.
We have a wrap for one. If you think you're the captain of the ship, or even might be though, remember that the captain always goes down with the ship.
Good night.
Dr. Eichenberger. IT people like comic songs, right? That's not the question. And can you play your cello for us while the ship goes down? I think that would be very nice. That's not the question either. You've studied information technology for years and years. With your IT background, how can you possibly support MCG's use of Cerner power chart?
That's actually a good question.
I can bore you all to death with supporting power chart. My question though for you is, who meets the devil and says, you know, that's a guy that needs an advocate? But honestly, the IT answer is, that's how I get my kids to sleep. You know, I could do the same thing for you all. And this is my background, this is my training, and as far as supporting it, I don't support it any more than anyone else that uses it.
Maybe some people don't want to use it at all. Thank you very much.
Devil, do you have any more questions at this point? Okay, the devil is resting. So now we can take some questions from the audience. If you have questions, then each person will have a chance to answer the question. So who has a question they'd like to ask? The rafters. All right, Miller's got a question. Yes.
Jesse, Mike.
So my question to you all is, say that there was an extra spot on the raft. Which additional person would you choose to be on the raft with you?
Okay, we'll start with Jake. 1 minute each for an answer to that.
The short answer is Dr. Carson, clearly. This is between two different questions. Is this medicine versus surgery or adults versus peds? They really put me up here with the answer to both, and that's peds medicine. Dr. Carson, please.
Dr. Greg, you want to?
You can take either one of them. They're pretty much doing the same thing.
You have 1 minute. Is that, do you want to share any more, or is that good?
Is there any other debate on that? I was trying to say it in another language or something.
Thaddeus, response to Miller?
I would say, I'll take Jake. His children were pretty darn important.
Okay, thank you for that question. Who's got another question for the rafters? Yes, did your mic work back there?
So my question is for Dr. Greg. So you started out in orthopedics, but you went to pediatric orthopedics. So why did you change from adults to kids?
No, I started with orthopedic surgery residency for 5 years and then did a fellowship in pediatric orthopedics.
Why?
He wants to know why.
Why? I like the patient population, I like the variety of cases. I generally like that my patients want to get better, and they do.
The other contestants, any comments?
Nope, that's it.
Fantastic. All right, who's got another question? We've got about 15 minutes to go back and forth with the rafters here. Yes?
Hi, okay, I guess my question is, if you could take one item on the raft with you to help you survive, what would it be?
We'll start with Jake. You have 1 minute.
I was actually thinking about this before I came here, and I think because of lack of battery backup and internet, I'm not going to take my cell phone. Probably my favorite book, just for entertainment. That would be Lord of the Rings, like the all three, as you know, choosing it as one book and not 3 different ones, so you can cheat that a little bit too. Yeah. Everything else I've got. I mean, I've got all the tools for survival just in my bare.
Right?
Well, I can take 2 things, but I'm right-handed, so I guess I'll just take this one right here. I might also take a book about how to get rescued at sea.
Thaddeus?
That's all I got.
Thaddeus?
I would take a stethoscope so I could diagnose things, and a can of Spam so I wouldn't die.
Thank you. All right, who's got another question? Yes, Paul.
I don't know if this works. It does. To all of you, if you could just tell me very quickly, how would you comfort the victims who did not gain the raft, should you be the winner?
Jake, we'll start with you.
I would provide only comfort in asking what message they would like me to send their loved ones, and then I would help them underwater, or the devil's advocate if needed. That's it.
That's very sweet.
All right. Your response?
I guess I would just try to wave real nice.
Dan?
Similar to the waving with a large smile, like the end of the Titanic. Just a loop.
Okay, other questions for the contestants?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we've got one back here. Go ahead.
Dr. Carson, what's in your pipe?
Do I seem relaxed to you?
You had a question?
I can't tell. I think the raft has one cup holder on it. And I'm guessing the ship you're on has a fairly wide selection of different beverages. So you get to take one drink onto the, one type of, beverage with you onto the raft. What is your beverage of choice that you're going to bring onto the raft?
Drake?
I do not appreciate the question. It's very embarrassing for me. I have got a bad history of that, and I would have to take water.
Greg?
I would just like to say that's really the best question we've been asked the whole time. Water does make the most sense, but I hear there's water, mostly water at PBR, so I think that's 24 ounce, baby.
I think I'd go for a single malt Melvini.
Okay, other questions from the audience? Don't be shy. Oh, we've got one over there. Yes, go ahead.
What was the proudest moment of your career?
Proudest moment of your career. Jake?
Well, I can't predict the future, but I think I see it coming, and it'll be this raft.
Hey, Greg?
That's very touching. Probably my proudest moment was
had a girl that came to see us, and she had several other doctors that she had seen, and nobody could figure out what her problem was. We figured out, unfortunately, what we found out was that she had a large spinal cord tumor that was not resectable with surgery. But when I read about her online, it said that she had gone to so many doctors and was so appreciative that somebody could finally figure out what she had and get her on the right track of at least getting some treatment and palliative care. And that was probably, although I wasn't named by name, that was probably one of the proudest things to see, that they appreciated what we did, even though all we did was just tell her what she had.
Thank you. That is.
I would say it's been being the clerkship director and working with you students.
Isn't that sweet? That is, thank you. Thank you, Greg. Okay, come on, let's get these guys going. A couple more questions, and we're going to move on to the devil's advocate.
If perchance you're not selected for the raft, what would your last words be?
Wait a minute, I couldn't hear that. What was it?
If you're not selected to go up to the raft, what would you like your last words to be?
Did you hear that? If you weren't selected to go onto the raft, what would your last parting words be?
Well, I think I'll make it what I end a lot of my rounding sessions with, which is go forth, take care of good kids, and practice evidence-based medicine.
Greg, I can only imagine. Let's hear it.
I would just say, when you get there and you get back to land and you go back to practice, just remember that you want to be a surgeon. Just go back, get surgery training so you can actually stamp out some disease and cure some people. Thank you.
Thaddeus.
Goodbye.
Okay, other questions?
What are your top 3 fears about being a physician or a surgeon?
The top 3, pardon me?
Fears.
Top 3 fears of being your specialty? Does that work? Or are you still competitive? Top 3 fears of being in your specialty.
That was the question of the specialty?
Well, I reworked it that way, but it flows better, so just go with that.
Top 3 fears of my specialty. Pertussis, so please get your vaccinations. Patients that return even though they're over the age of 18. And having to spend more time with surgeons.
Ooh, that was a good one. Good one, Greg. Give it back to him. Give it back to him. Your shot.
Oh, you can say, well, I always worry that are they infected? Are they going to get infected? Or did they already get infected? I look in their eyes and I say, are you good? You know, good boys and girls don't get infected, but they still do.
Any fears you want to share of your specialty?
I'd say the fear of non-compliance.
Fear of non-compliance. We needed top 3, folks. Do you have any more to share?
That goes for most of my diseases I treat.
Okay, another question.
So you people are going to have no materials to help people. Which of you can help the most people with the least equipment?
Sorry, Greg.
I agree. Sorry, Dr. Kale. So, pediatricians, clearly, we don't need fancy scopes and caths, and we were fortunate enough to be blessed with a patient population that largely gets better on their own. Antibiotics can speed things up and save a lot of lives, but honestly, clean water has saved a lot more lives than antibiotics or immunizations. So get some good rainfall out there on the boat, and I think we'll all be okay.
Greg?
I would argue that most of what they do to help you is with medicines, which they're not going to have with them. So unless they're taking some lisinopril or a bunch of vaccinations, it's not going to be that much they're going to be able to help you. We're going to make something work with what we got. That's what we do. That's what we do for a living.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Dad?
I would say it would clearly be internal medicine. We would be diagnosing and making health changes wherever we went, whatever they would give us.
Okay, I heard another
Plus
question.
we prevent disease.
Question right there, yeah.
What would you do when you got back to land?
What would you do when you got back to land, Jake?
I would probably take the opportunity to learn that floss dance that a lot of the kids are doing now, the backpack kid, you know? That's kind of high up on the list. You saw my children, I would go see them. Get some good cheese dip from a Mexican restaurant. And watch one of the new Disney Star Wars movies. Any of them? Well, they're all pretty good, I think.
Right.
I do what all surgeons do. I go back to work, baby. That's what cases I got scheduled and stop seeing people in clinic.
Dan?
I agree. Getting back to work would be on there, but it'd be after a steak and a beer.
Okay, we have time for one more question. One more, and then we'll move on to our devil's advocate. Who's got one final one for the debaters?
Okay. You're right.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so because most of you are going to die, you get one song to commemorate your passing, and you get a building on campus named after you. What do you choose?
Did you hear that? If you could have one song named after you or a building named after you, which would you choose? One song.
So you get to choose a song to
passing.
commemorate your passing and a building named after you on campus.
I think you'd be looking at the new Eichenberger Children's Hospital. And I think my song would be a song called With Hope.
With Hope?
Yeah, it's With Hope.
Okay, all right, good, thank you, Greg?
I think I'm going Euro final, this final countdown. I love that song so much. I'll just take the cafeteria, whatever you got.
Not the gross anatomy lab, anything like that. You like the cafeteria? All right, Thaddeus?
I think I would just rename the hospital for the 4th time. I wouldn't learn it yet anyway. Something along those lines, and then of course it would be Staying Alive. Nobody thinks that I've died here.
Great, and then I've had my 5th set of business cards since I arrived in Georgia then, so I'm great. Well, good, well thank you audience for those questions. So we're now going to turn it over to our devil's advocate, who now will have 2 minutes to discredit the answers of our debaters.
But it doesn't matter who gets the rep. These people are all the same. They're all white male. Where's our diversity people? You're all computer techie geeks. You're all graduated from med school in the last 10 years. There's nothing to distinguish any of you. So I don't see how anybody can vote for any of you. And besides, you're all about to be out of a job. And here's why. Dr. Carson, computers have been taking over your field for 40 years since Ed short-lived in Meissen. Patients are going to be interviewed by the computer. They're going to have their heart and lung sounds analyzed by computer. The computer's going to order the test. The computer's going to make the diagnosis. The computer's going to order the treatment. No need for you. Dr. Kalv, the robots are coming.
I'm hungry.
And I don't mean the Da Vinci robots, I mean autonomous robots, like are already reaming out the femurs. Here's a study from last fall. Autonomous robot surgeon beats human surgeons. The robots are going to be doing everything you do in the OR. And I just saw a note that the American College of Surgeons is picking the vendor, and it's Uber. Dr. Eichenberger, forget it. You've already been replaced. You've been replaced by the pediatric nurse practitioners. Anything you can do, they can do better.
What are you doing?
So I invite you to stick around for dinner. We've got a concert planned for you out by the piano here. Bree Nichols, Jason Nichols, and Richard Burgess Block will be singing. Greg Hankins will be at the piano. We'll be playing a variety of popular and classical selections for you during dinner.
I'm hungry.
And lots of people made my effort tonight possible, and including these people over here with their keyboard. Rick's not there. Okay, thank you very much.
Good, so I get to have the final question of the contestants, and this is your last chance to win and get the audience on your side. So the question for you is, you have 2 minutes actually to answer. You might want to write it down. It's very, very long, like, 10,000 handouts of learning objectives that the students have to memorize and all of that. So now here it goes. The question is, what is the most important to you? Number 1, work. 2, family and friends. 3, money. 4, lifestyle, free time, lake house, boat, travel, personal religious faith, or something else. I'll give you about 30 seconds to get your thoughts together. This is your last shot. We have the studious one here, Dr. Jake's writing down. All right, let's mix it up. Let's start with Thaddeus to end. So you have 2 minutes.
On that list, there's some clear winners. I'd say my faith is very important to me, and I don't plan on being in the water, but I would have hope afterwards if I was. But family and friends would be second on that list.
Okay, thank you. Greg?
I got asked this actually on the interview trail when I was interviewing for orthopedics, and what I told them was God, family and friends, and then orthopedics.
Great, thank you, Jake.
Well, thank you. I'm going to take a little bit of time since we're given 2 minutes, and as the moderator, I'm going to answer this, and the answer is going to be family and friends. I'm going to use work so that I can make some money to spend time with them and practice our faith. Really, there's no point in the lifestyle stuff where I'm not making enough money for a beach house. But I'd like to thank Dr. Carson for mentioning the hope that I have, the song that I chose with hope. And I'd like to even thank our devil's advocate, as much as that hurts to thank a devil's advocate. You mentioned Ed Shortlift, who I got to work with the student that was working with him on a different project, a better project called Internist 1. So appreciate you bringing up that name from history. And then he showed a picture of a nurse practitioner there named Beth Fisher, who actually is our HEMONC nurse practitioner. And he is exactly right. She is just the greatest. Any patient would be lucky to have her over me. I'm glad she's not up here. She would be the clear choice. But in her absence, I think clearly it's me. And I will say nice things.
Thank you. Well, a good round of applause for all of our contestants. You are going to have to vote. There is only one final answer, unfortunately. So, but let's just give kind of a round of applause for each one. But electronic votes will be the ones tallied at the end to decide the winner. So first, for Dr. Jake Eichenberger. For Dr. Greg Kalv, our surgeon. Say that again.
Is that how that's pronounced?
Solve. I was told Kalv, like solve. All right. And for Thaddeus Carson. For our devil's advocate, Dr. Frank Blanc. They're going to project now something, and you're all going to be able to do something technologically cool and actually place a vote. And our regional campuses that are beaming in can also click this link and place a vote. We're projecting it here. Do they put this on their cell phone? Is that what they do? Go to this website? We got to get it up there. It says vote now. I see it down here. So go to that website. Notice the HTTPS for secure. Don't forget that. And we're going to have live voting going on over here. Where's the serotonins? They could get up here and sing for us, right? Okay, keep voting, keep voting. Has everyone gotten to the website? We've got so far 119 responses registered. I will be the only one seeing the results. Even Dr. Danger will not see the results. 130 people voting. We're going to give it another minute here. We do need some music in the interlude. Can't you play something here? Our timekeeper can't play as a whole. Play something. Jingle bells. Something.
That's going to sound much better than me.
Better than Jingle Bells. Good. 52 responses and rising.
Interesting note, the girl that introduced my wife and I was Taylor Swift's violinist.
Up to 160. $168. The survey let you go in more than once, but we're over 172 at this point, rising, so 179. 30 more seconds, timekeeper, and then we're going to cut it off. 30 seconds. You'll tell me when we're 15 seconds. 191 casted votes. Okay, time is up, folks. We're gonna look at the results. And we have two that we will need to have a runoff for. They better have a second survey up. I think they do have one. So we've got, it's neck and neck between the devil's advocate and the surgeon. All right, so we're going to have to do a revote now just for devil's advocate or the surgeon. Sorry, Jay, sorry, bad. Internist, and I'm an internist and a, why don't we have a psychiatrist up here? Exactly. All right, they're rebooting up the survey, folks, and then we're going to do it again between the devil's advocate and the surgeon. All right, that's the link, folks. Regional campus. 130 votes. We did have about close to 200. We're going to give it another minute or so. Someone tee up some Michael Jackson or something.
I will survive.
Oh, yes.
All right, folks, it's teeing it up, analyzing. We do have a winner. We have a winner. Drum roll. And the winner is the Devil
time that a devil's advocate has won the raft debate. Dr. Dolan was the first.
Well, we have gifts for our other contestants, so thank you, Thaddeus. Thank you, Greg. All right. Thank you, all winners, Jenny. I think Greg would rather have the wine glasses. Thank you guys all for coming. I hope you enjoyed your evening. And as Dr. Block shared, he's one of our SGL facilitators in Athens, and it's just been phenomenal, really, to teach our students. And so he really put his heart and soul into this, and all of our contestants did. So I thank them all so much. We're going to go feast, have some beer, wine, and whatever else is out there, and some music. So let's go party.
Also, probably too late now, but I didn't mean to infer that I had some troubled history with alcohol. As quick as I am, that's occurring to me about 20 minutes later. No, my problem was coffee and Diet Coke.
We need pictures, we need pictures.